Welcome to another edition of the Coach Daboll Show, presented by Ford. I'm Bob Papa. On Sunday, Giants back at work as they take on the New Orleans Saints. We got a big show lined up for you. Sean O'Hara will join us. We'll look at some key matchups. Carl Banks will go to the coach's tape as well to break down this week's opponent. But as always, we're joined by the head coach of the New York Giants, Brian Daboll, and of course, Carl Banks. And Coach, having played on Thursday, a little extra time off. Do you do a little more self-scouting over that extra couple days?
Yeah, you do some more self-scouting, and then obviously get a head start on New Orleans, who, has a new coach in there, and Darren Rizzi. He's coming back home, Bergen Catholic guy. And so you spend a lot of time on the 3 games that they've played. As he's been the head coach, go back and look at some of the other stuff as well. New coordinator, obviously. So a lot of work to be done.
You guys were on the same staff in Miami.
We were.
So
yeah.
What was it about him? He's always a fiery guy, energetic.
Yeah, he's got a lot of passion for the game. He's very smart. I think he's a good leader. He's a great teammate. He has all the things that I think you need to have to do that position. He's done a nice job.
Coach, talk a little bit about their offensive personnel. They are pretty diverse on offense.
It seems like the trend in the NFL is to go a bunch of receivers and spread things out, and they do things a little bit differently. They use a variety of personnel groups. Obviously, they just lost Taysom, which was a big element of all the different things that they have done. But Coach Kubiak does a nice job of employing different personnel groups. They stay big. They obviously like to run the football. They had a huge time of possession there against the Rams, and the game they just played, the Rams had 3 plays in the first quarter. So, and then it's really, starts with Alvin Kamara, who is still a sensational back. He's electric. He can run it. He can catch it, and that's kind of that's where it starts with him.
Coach, obviously, you mentioned Taysom Hill being out. You lost Dexter Lawrence, one of the premier players in the league. How do you kind of try to make up for that? Because one guy can't just step in. It's got to be a group that kind of fills that void.
Yeah, really nobody can replace Dexter. He's been a dynamic player for us since he's been here. He's hard to block, both in the run and the pass, and it's all hands on deck. Everybody's going to have to contribute, and you can't replace a guy like Dex, but the guys that are behind him that have been working have to step in and have to play.
Your tight end position is also, he took a hit there too, Coach, and he's been very promising as a rookie. And can you talk a little bit just about how he's progressed from day one to where he was before he got injured?
Yeah, very pleased with Theo. It's unfortunate what happened. He's really made strides since he's been here. He's the exact type of guy that we want in our program. He's tall, he's long, he's physical for a young player. He's developed, throughout the year, and it's unfortunate to see him get hurt because he's been productive for us. I'd say the last 4 or 5 games, and we were going to use him a bunch.
Coach, final question for me. Derek Carr obviously is a guy that's got a lot of experience in the league, and he can rip it when given the opportunity. When you watch him on film, what are some of the things that makes him very dangerous?
He's a quick decision maker, and he's accurate. He knows where he wants to go with the football, and they do a good job of balancing the runs and then the run actions off of those that help him in the protection part of it. If he gets a one-on-one matchup, he'll lay it up there and give his guys a chance to make a play.
Coach, we appreciate a couple minutes as always. We'll do it again next week. That's the head coach of the New York Giants, Brian Daboll. When we come back, Carl Banks and I go head-to-head. All that and more here on the Coach Daboll Show, presented by Ford. Welcome back to the Coach Daboll Show, presented by Ford. Giants and Saints on Sunday. Carl, we're going to do a little head-to-head, and we're going to take a look at the Giants going against the Saints and Talise Fuaga, the rookie left tackle, against Brian Burns. Giants have gone on a sack situation in which they haven't gotten a lot recently. They need a better pass rush.
Well, Bob, they do need a better pass rush, but they have to get the other part done first so that they can get to a pass rush. As long as this young man is not exposed to 3rd and long situations, he'll fare well, because this Giant defense is built to pressure from the outside in long yardage situations.
The other situation is Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, no longer having Dexter Lawrence in there, which means that teams can now pay a little more attention to them.
Well, they can pay attention to them, but with the absence of Dexter Lawrence, they're going to try where Dexter left. That's normally how it's been. When Dexter comes out of the game, you see runs right where he left out. So you'll see probably a more balanced run attack, but I think everybody has to be on their job.
All right, let's take a look on the other side of the ball. And Demario Davis has been a pro's pro. There are guys that never miss games. They just make tackle after tackle, and the Giants are going to have to deal with him when they're trying to run the football.
Well, this is strength on strength. The Giants' strength right now offensively is their ability to run the football. The Saints are holding people to limited yardage. I mean, they don't get a lot of possessions because this Saint defense will get you in a 3 and out, and then their offense will take over. So ball control is really important for this Giant offense.
And Carl, it's more than just Tyrone Tracy, too. I mean, it's Singletary. The whole group has to kind of chip in on this.
Well, they do, Bob. And this is about just generating yardage. And it's not about a big chunk play, but if you can keep the trains on the track, if you stay on schedule.
Giants are going to try to do that on Sunday against the New Orleans Saints. We're going to take a timeout on the program. When we come back, Sean O'Hara will join the show with a special guest. All that and more here on the Coach Daboll Show, presented by Ford. Welcome back to the Coach Daboll Show, presented by Ford. It's the Giants and Saints on Sunday at MetLife Stadium. Now it's time to send it over to Sean O'Hara. You know, the Saints are from Louisiana. His special guest played at LSU.
Thanks, Bob. Cor'dale, you're having a great season, tackling machine this year. I know that's normally not what we're asking corners to do, but take me through like kind of the process of when you're going up to make a tackle. Like, what are one of the first things that you do once you realize, all right, I got to bring this guy down?
The first things I do is same foot, same shoulder is the best way.
Okay.
You going into a tackling, so if you're going from this angle here, I want to be here so that way I can drive and shoot with power.
Right.
Like that, and full speed, momentum, so it all works out. So.
Okay. Well, now to the fun stuff. Let's talk about breaking up a pass, coverage. Take me through, like, what is the difference for you if you're going to be in press or if you're going to be in off coverage?
The alignment is different. When I'm in off, I like to be at 7 yards to be able to have time and space for the receiver when I'm guarding them, to be able to read the quarterback for me.
So if I'm on the line right here, you want to be 7 yards and off coverage. Why 7?
7 yards is a happy medium. I feel like once you're at 4 to 5, the receiver can approach your space.
Okay.
You know, a lot
Gets on you a little quicker.
Get on you quicker. That way you have to panic and not be able to judge the ball if it's a run or pass. So 7 give that perfect amount of space. That way you can be able to do that. Now my press, I want to be within arm's length away.
Okay.
You know, obviously from the ball to the line of scrimmage. If I'm arm's length away, I have a little bit of space because pressure, if I'm too tight, you know, you can make a move and I can't see anything. I have to jump back or lose control. But if I'm just at least the arm length away, I have space and time to read the hips, stay within its frames 2 or 3 yards.
Okay.
And move and maneuver.
So, boom, you're up here, you're in press coverage. What are you looking at? Are you looking at my eyes?
Not looking at your eyes
like my belly button? What are we?
Really right here at your belt line, the hips.
Okay.
The hips, you know, you can't go nowhere without your hips. You can do
Shakira said that hips don't lie, right?
Yeah, hips don't lie. You can do foot fake, moving your arms, but your hips are going to stay where you go.
Okay. Now, are you thinking jam?
Nah, I'm not a jam corner. I'm not a bigger body corner.
Okay.
So I like to stay, you know, kind of playing off, using my feet.
So you don't like to make contact?
Nah, I'm not a big
on the
contact
snap.
corner. Nah,
Gotcha.
not at all.
Okay.
Yep.
So what are the challenges with that?
The challenge is just receivers may notice that, and the bigger body receivers may try to push off, you know, try to be a little more aggressive, get away with different types of, you know, ball in the air, disrupts, pushing off. So
are you basically just in trail position?
Yeah.
If I have an outside release now,
Outside
you're not
release.
trying to jam me, but you're going to try to ride me out. Right?
Yep, I'm gonna stay on top of you, this top field shoulder, up field shoulder, just to stay at a good position where I can break downhill and also run the go ball with you.
Gotcha.
Yep. If I'm
So
low
outside release, you're thinking go ball or
stop.
pitch?
Yep.
Or
inside release, slant, dig, post.
Okay, gotcha. So that's how you got it categorized. Yep. I come in here and now you're immediately thinking, all right.
Yep. You get a slant, you get a dig, you got a post.
Right. Gotcha. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Take me through the process. When is it time to look back for the ball? Like, how do you know when to turn your head?
A lot of
I'm
guys
on outside release right now, and we're out here.
I feel like once you get to that 12 to 15 range mark, it's about time to look for the ball, only because you cleared the stop route, which is usually 5 to 7. Then you cleared the comeback route, which is usually like in that 10, 12, 15 range.
Okay.
And then obviously the receiver's gonna show you their shoulders when it's keep it go.
Right. Okay. So we're running. You've got me like that, and I'm going deep. Are you looking at me the whole time?
Yeah, I'm looking at your eyes.
And then when I look back, that's when you start to look back?
When you look back, now I know it's either time to transition my eyes or I know it's either time to play through here like this.
When you look back, what do you do with your hand?
Usually I like the arm fight. Usually I like to be
So
here.
there's always that battle going on,
Yeah,
right?
making sure you
That's
don't
okay.
push
That's
me
not
off.
PI.
Exactly.
If you're bad on the hands,
And if
right?
you're looking back for the ball, it's not a PI.
Gotcha.
But if you get in a situation where you're just pushing and you're fighting and you're not looking back for the ball, they'll call you for a flag.
Gotcha. All right.
Yes,
So
sir.
you got to keep it a little clean, but you also, you want to push back a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, you're putting it all together. Having a great season. Good luck this weekend. Thanks so much for the time.
Appreciate you.
All right, Cor'dale.
Thank you.
Don't go anywhere. We've got a lot more to come right here on the Coach Daboll Show.
In 1986, tight end Mark Bavaro turned in one of the gutsiest performances in Giants history.
I tell you, he's a stone-faced, that Bavaro now. You know what the hell he's thinking. I'd hate to have to fight that son of a gun.
Bavaro hauled in 7 passes for 110 yards. But midway through the second quarter, he suffered a broken jaw.
Of course, they took him away for an x-ray, and he came back and he had his teeth kind of gritted. So he couldn't talk. He was like this and kind of punched me in the back and went, I'm ready to go.
Bavaro returned and led the Giants to the 20-17 come-from-behind victory.
How you doing, kid? All right. Boy, proud of you. Tough guy, kid.
Welcome back to the Coach Daboll Show presented by Ford. Mark Bavaro with the broken jaw, 1986. I know he didn't say a lot, but now with it wired shut, did he even grunt at you?
He grunts, hey, Mark. He never talked a lot anyway, like you said, but with the jaw wired, we used to tease him a little bit, and it would just grumble something under his locked jaw.
Was it mad respect for the dude with wired jaws?
Look, and listen, we had the utmost respect for Mark. He kind of symbolized what our defense and our team was about, just gritty and tough-minded. But if he could go, he was going to go.
And that helped the Giants get to the Super Bowl and win it in 1986. Time for this week's edition of Strategy. It is presented by Microsoft Surface, the official tablet of the New York Giants. And Carl, we're going to take a look at Alvin Kamara. And obviously he is a multifaceted threat when you take a look at this Saints offense because he can really do it all.
Yeah, Bob, we have, number one, from a defensive standpoint, you got to look at the numbers, right? They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys to one side of the line of scrimmage. So when you have 5 guys to the line of scrimmage, you're already outnumbered because you only have 3 guys on your side. So you've got to go with some type of gap technique where you'll take and put a guy in this gap or maybe walk a guy up here just so that you can balance it off and discourage the threat of that run. You've got to balance up your leverage so that you'll give yourself a chance to make a play on this. And Alvin Kamara is just a good open field runner, and he's got great vision at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, we saw Taysom Hill making the block on the edge. Obviously, he's lost for the year. That's a big loss for them. All right, Carl, some more of their running game, a little more power here?
Well, it's power, Bob, but here's what it is. It's Alvin Kamara, his power. I'll freeze it here. Now, there's not a lot of places to go. You've got a guy here that should make this tackle because he's unblocked at this point, and I'll run it. He's got Kamara, but he's trying to tackle him up high. Can't do that. So Kamara just breaks right out, and then away he goes. I mean, he's a powerful guy. He's speed, and he also has hands. And we'll take a look here at his ability to catch the football. Now, he's an ideal check down guy because if you look at this line of scrimmage here, there's not a lot going on in terms of the pass rush, but he just sees he doesn't have anybody to block, so he helps his quarterback here, and he just leaks out right behind the defense. Let's take a look. So the defense played coverage, umbrella coverage, so there's nothing there for the quarterback, and Kamara just leaks out. And this is just as good as an intermediate pass. He goes for, what, 17, 18 yards there, just on a check down route. So when you're playing man-to-man coverage, make sure if there's a blitz, you got to occupy Kamara because if he has no work, he's going to become the primary receiver, which he does right here.
So those are kind of the threats that the Saints can hurt you with offensively. Carl, they have a lot of veteran guys on the defensive side of the ball, and they create pressure in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, Bob, we talked about the numbers game that they play on offense. They also do it on defense because they will outnumber you, and you'll see you've got on your right side 1, 2, 3, 4 potential rushers. So the quarterback has to set the protections. If he doesn't set the protections, he's better have something going opposite of those numbers. So we'll just run it here. You've got 4 guys, 3 guys to block them. This guy declares. You've got a guy out here in the boundary outside of a wide receiver. So he's in the blind spot. They call that the blind spot because the receiver's going out. He's not going to block him. So this guy's got to look all the way out here to see the blitzer, if that blitzer's coming. He steps. They just run a little twist game. Quarterback is looking somewhere else. Pretty easy. You got to be prepared. When they show you numbers, believe that something's coming from that side.
I'll take a look at some more pressure and what they do now. This side, this time it's kind of overloaded on this side with Chase Young, the former Washington Commander.
Yeah, you've got 4 guys, 3 guys, and here's the key. Circle this back here. This guy, quarterback has to set protections, right? You can account for 3 on this side with the center, guard, tackle, right? On the other side, you are just outnumbered. So what you want to do, you want to take this back and put him over here. So now you can slide your protections out and cover that side, and you've got both sides covered. But because the back is on the wrong, not the wrong side, they just kept him over there, he has no work. But you have a guy running free right off the edge there, and no one blocks him, he gets to the quarterback. It's a numbers game. They only have 11 guys out there. If you see your guys outnumbered, you're going to have to do something to balance it up.
That's this week's edition of Strategy, presented by Microsoft Surface, the official tablet of the New York Giants and the National Football League. Here on the Coach Daboll Show, presented by Ford. Carl, we get some final thoughts for this week's game against the Saints. And look, the Giants are in a rut right now, and stopping the run. I know it sounds trite, but it's really the whole thing in this situation.
Yeah, it's on repeat right now. I mean, this is going to be the recurring battle cry for this defense. Stop the run, stop the run, stop the run, so that you can really turn your weapons loose. Right now, they can't because teams are just controlling the ball and they're controlling the line of scrimmage.
Carl, it's an opportunity time because with Dexter Lawrence being hurt, there's some younger guys that are going to get opportunities, and throughout the course of this lineup, who are you looking forward to seeing kind of take a next step?
Well, you know, I'm still looking at these young defensive backs, Bob. I mean, the safeties are going to play a major role in this. They got to be good tacklers here. And then the linebacking crew. You've got to get more out of those guys. I think they have not been unleashed to the level that they were last year.
And then Cor'dale Flott, he's in his 3rd year, and you know he got nicked up in the game against Dallas, came back in the game, started LSU. I'm anxious to see him because we talk about stacking.
Yeah,
he puts good performances on tape each and every week.
He's done that, Bob, and he's a young 3rd-year guy, number one, but he is now kind of, as pardon the pun, turned the corner. He's a guy now that is a pro cornerback, and now he's just refining the things that they're coaching him on, but he's got the basics down.
This week's game between the Giants and Saints is brought to you by Ticketmaster, the official ticket outlet partner of the New York Giants and the National Football League. That wraps it up for this week's show. For Carl Banks, Sean O'Hara, Coach Daboll, and the entire crew, I'm Bob Popham. Thanks for joining us for this edition of the Coach Daboll Show, presented by Ford.